Hi there, girls and boys. My name is Jim Dukas, and I'm going to read you a story called The Story of Mowgli from Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Books. One warm evening, the wolves were resting in their cave when they heard growling and grunting in the valley below. "What can that be?" asked Mother Wolf. Father Wolf listened. The lame tiger must be after something. Just then, into the moonlight at the entrance stepped a brown baby. It came right into the cave and pushed between the cubs. "A man's cub," declared Father Wolf in surprise. "How little, how naked," said Mother Wolf softly. "Look, he's not afraid. He is taking his meal with the others." Suddenly, the lame tiger looked in. His roar filled the cave with thunder. "I chased the parents away, so the man's cub is mine," he said. "Give him to me." "Go away," snapped Mother Wolf. "The man's cub is mine now. He shall live to run and hunt with the wolf pack." The lame tiger finally went away. Mother Wolf came back to the brown baby and said, "Lie still, little frog. Because you are as hairless as a frog, I shall call you Mowgli the Frog." Father Wolf looked worried. "The wolves may not let the man's cub join the pack," he said. "Is it against the law of the jungle?" asked Mother Wolf. "No," answered her mate, "but the law does say that all wolf cubs must be brought before the council as soon as they can walk, so that all in the pack can look them over." "Well then," said Mother Wolf, "bring Mowgli before the pack." So on the night of the next full moon, Father Wolf took his cubs and Mowgli and Mother Wolf to Council Rock. The wolf Akela, the leader, lay on a high rock above the others. Wolf cubs played and tumbled in the center of the circle. Now and again, a big wolf would come up to look at them and return to his place. "Look well, O wolves!" cried Akela from his high rock. At last Father Wolf pushed Mowgli into the center of the circle. Mowgli laughed and sat, playing with pretty stones. One wolf said, "A man's cub has no place here." "There's no harm in him," said old Baloo, the sleepy brown bear who taught the wolf cubs the law of the jungle. "Let him run with the pack. I myself will teach him." Bagheera, the black panther who was a friend of the wolves, said, "Let the man's cub run with the pack. If you do, I will give you a fat young bull that I killed not half a mile from here." The wolves quickly agreed to let Mowgli into the pack, for there was nothing they liked better than a fat young bull. And that is how Mowgli became a member of the Seoni wolf pack. By the time he was 10 or 11, he had learned ever so many wonderful things. Father Wolf taught him to hunt. Bagheera, the black panther, taught him to climb trees. Baloo, the brown bear, taught him the law of the jungle. When Mowgli was not learning, he sat out in the sun and slept, and ate, and went to sleep again. When he felt dirty or hot, he swam in the forest pools. He went to meetings of the wolf pack at Council Rock, too. There he often picked thorns out of the pads of his friends, for wolves suffered greatly from thorns in their feet. "I try to be kind to the wolves," Mowgli told Baloo the bear, "but most of them don't seem to like me." "They claim you are lazy," said Baloo. "Many times when you should be hunting with the pack, you go into the valley to watch how men live in the village." "I am just like those in the village," said Mowgli. "Bagheera says that someday I might go down to live with them in the village, but I would rather be with my friends in the jungle." One day, Mowgli took a nap with the bear and the panther. Suddenly, he felt himself being lifted into the trees by the strong little hands of the monkey people. He cried out in alarm. Baloo roared with anger. Bagheera sprang into a tree and started to climb. But the monkey people were already high above, carrying Mowgli away through the swaying treetops. At first, Mowgli felt dizzy, yet he could not help enjoying the wild rush and swinging through empty space. But when he caught glimpses of the earth far below, it frightened him. On the ground, Baloo and Bagheera followed at a distance. A giant rock snake joined them in the chase. He was hungry and wanted a monkey or two for his dinner. The monkey people finally brought Mowgli down at an old stone temple no longer used by man. There Baloo and Bagheera caught up and began fighting the monkeys. Roars and squeals and grunts of battle filled the jungle with sound. Then came the giant rock snake. When the monkeys saw him, they ran away, leaving Mowgli behind with his friends. "Why did they take me?" asked Mowgli. "Because you are a boy," answered Baloo. "You are different." "That is why the wolves have turned against you," said Bagheera. "You are different. You are wiser than they. There is talk of throwing you out of the pack at the next council meeting." "And if they throw you out," said Baloo, "the pack will no longer protect you, and the lame tiger will be waiting to eat you." "I know what I can do," said Mowgli. "I can protect myself with fire. All in the jungle are afraid of fire, but I am not. I have seen how the villagers use fire to keep them warm and to cook their food." So on the night of the next full moon, Mowgli went to the council rock, carrying a clay pot of fire he had found on the edge of the village. As soon as the meeting began, the wolves complained about Mowgli. Some said he was no good as a hunter. Others said he caused much trouble among them. "The pack is no place for a man's cub," said one. On his high rock, Akela, the leader, said, "Let those who are against the man's cub drive him away from Council Rock." Most of the wolves stood up. They began closing in on Mowgli. He could see the lame tiger lying in the tall grass nearby, ready to kill him as soon as he was driven from Council Rock. Mowgli thrust the end of a dead branch into the fire pot. Suddenly, it burst into flame. He waved it above his head, then struck out at the wolves right and left. The frightened wolves ran away howling, for sparks burned in their fur. Mowgli ran at the tiger and pushed the burning stick in its face, burning its whiskers. With a scream of pain, the tiger went bounding away. The only ones left at Council Rock were Mowgli's friends, the panther, the bear, Mother and Father Wolf, and their cubs. "Now I go to live in the village," Mowgli told them. "No, stay with us," begged Mother Wolf. Mowgli gave her a big bear hug, and for a moment his eyes filled with tears. "If I am a man I must become," he told her. Then he hurried down the hillside to the village. He was frightened when the gates opened and everyone came running to stare at him. But then they smiled and looked friendly, and he knew everything was going to be all right, especially from the shy glances the little girl of the village gave him. Rikki-Tikki, Tavi, and Letting in the Jungle, from Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Books. Rikki-Tikki, Tavi was wet and cold after the rainstorm. He was glad when a little boy found him and took him home. "It's a young mongoose," said the boy's mother. "If we could get it to live with us, we wouldn't have poisonous snakes in our garden." "What would happen to the snakes?" asked the boy. "The mongoose kills them," answered the lady. Rikki-Tikki felt so proud, he sat up and put his fur in order. But he was so young, he did not know if he could kill a snake. He explored the house. He tipped over an ink bottle on a desk. Then he fell into a bathtub full of water and almost drowned, and had to be dried all over again. The next morning, while the mother and father and boy were watching, Rikki-Tikki went into the garden and met his first snake. It was so big, it frightened him. "My name is Nag," said the snake. "Look at me and be afraid." Rikki-Tikki tried to be brave. "I kill snakes," he said. Then another big snake, Nag's wicked wife, Nagaina, came up behind him, and Rikki-Tikki became so frightened he ran away. "He's no good," said the boy's father. "He's afraid of snakes." Rikki-Tikki felt very much ashamed of himself. But that night, when all was still in the house, he heard a small scratching sound. He went into the bathroom, where there was a hole in the wall to let water run out. Just outside the hole, he heard Nag say to his mate, "I will go in and kill the people. Then Rikki-Tikki will go away and our eggs in the melon patch will be safe." Nag came crawling in. He coiled himself around the bottom of the big water jar and waited for the people to come for their morning bath. Holding his breath, Rikki-Tikki moved closer. Suddenly he jumped and caught the snake by the neck. The snake jerked this way and that. It whipped against the tin side of the bathtub. The tin dipper and the soap dish went flying. The man came running with a gun. There was a terrible bang. Then it was quiet, and the snake stopped moving. The man picked Rikki-Tikki up tenderly and said, "Look, Alice, the little mongoose saved our lives." Everyone stroked his fur, and the little boy took him into his nice warm bed, where he slept soundly for the rest of the night. As soon as the sun came up the next morning, Rikki-Tikki hurried to the melon patch to look for snake eggs laid by Nag's wife. At last he found them, and had destroyed all but one when the tailor bird screamed, "Nagaina has gone into the house to kill." With the last egg in his mouth, Rikki-Tikki ran up the path and into the house as fast as he could. The boy and his parents were sitting at the table. Nagaina was coiled in the floor, just ready to strike at the boy's bare leg. Rikki-Tikki dropped the egg. "Look at your egg, Nagaina," he cried. "It's the last one." Nagaina spun clear around. She caught the egg up in her mouth and flew like an arrow out the door and down the path. Just as she was disappearing into her hole, Rikki-Tikki caught a hold of her tail and went down with her. For a time, there was no sound. But presently, Rikki-Tikki came crawling out, all covered with dirt. He sneezed and shook himself. "It's all over," he told the tailor bird. "The snake is dead." And from then on, Rikki-Tikki kept that garden as a mongoose should, with tooth and jump and spring and bite, till never a snake dared show its head inside the garden walls. One day, Kaa, the rock snake, told Mowgli a story about a boy who liked elephants. He liked them so much that he ran away to live with wild elephants in the jungle. Mowgli said proudly, "I have elephant friends too." "Yes," replied Kaa, "you have so many friends in the jungle that you have nothing to fear." "That is not true," said Mowgli. "The hunter Buldeo from the village is in the jungle right now with his gun. He hunts for me." "Why?" asked the rock snake. "He thinks I am a witch," explained Mowgli. "I tried to live in the village, you remember. But when the people found out I went hunting at night with wolves and a black panther, they said I must be an evil spirit. They think I can turn myself into a wild animal, so they became frightened and drove me away." His friend, the black panther, came bounding up. "The wolf pack and I have been following the hunter as you told us to do," the panther told Mowgli, "but now the hunter talks to some woodcutters." Mowgli jumped on the panther's back, and away they went, for Mowgli wanted to know what the hunter was saying about him. When they came close, Mowgli crept on hands and knees to where the wolves were listening. The hunter was saying, "The man and woman who took the witch boy into their home are witches too. We are holding them prisoner. Come with me now to the village and you will see how witches are burned alive in their huts." Suddenly, Mowgli felt afraid. He wanted no harm to come to the kind woman who had treated him like a son. "Make a big noise," he told his animal friends. "Frighten these people into the trees and keep them there for a while. I need time to get to the village and help my friends escape." Then he ran toward the village as fast as he could. Far behind him, he could hear the noises of the panther and the howling wolves as they drove the people into the trees. In the village, Mowgli found the kind woman and her man tied hand and foot. He cut them loose. "Go quickly up the path to the next village," he told them. "There is no use," said the kind woman sadly. "These people will follow and catch us within an hour." "Have no fear," said Mowgli. "There will be many wolves around the village to stop anyone from going after you." The kind woman hugged him, and she and her man hurried away. By the time the people in the village found out they were gone, Mowgli had the wolf pack there to keep the people at home. The next morning, Mowgli went to Hathi, the elephant, and told him what had happened. "The villagers make up stories that are not true, and then they kill. Is it not the law that one should kill only for food?" "True, true," said Hathi, swinging his long trunk back and forth. "The village is evil. We must give it back to the jungle." Hathi called all the animals together to help destroy the village. The wild pigs and the deer ate up the crops in the fields. The wolves drove away the tame buffalo. When the people saw that all their food was gone, they went away to live somewhere else. Then came the elephants. Hathi and his 3 sons broke down the walls of the village and did not leave one house standing. In a few weeks, big jungle plants hid the place where the village had been. From that time on, Mowgli had nothing to fear, and sometimes, when he rode on the head of an elephant, he felt like the king of the jungle.